We'll be live.
Serving shaitan with a smile.
Fantastic, fantastic. Love that opening. So I have a video. I have a video for us to review today from Mohammed Hijab. And this one is titled, let's bring it up. On Palestine. Oh,
wait, real quick.
Wait.
We've got some very observant viewers out there, Armin. We've got some people in our community that are going to ask questions, and I want to address this right here, right now. Yes, we are an hour early. That's not by accident, okay? That has happened, folks. It is the case. I mean, technically, it may have been by accident because the U.S. did daylight savings time, so it's technically a little bit earlier my time. It may not actually be earlier for some people because our audience is so global, but we are going to keep it at this time next week. So you can go ahead and plan. You can go ahead and prepare, but also just ring that bell if you haven't. It's the easiest thing you can do. It just
and like the stream. The stream.
Super easy.
Subscribe. Yes. Because if the time changes, as long as you had hit the bell notification, YouTube will just tell you when we're going live.
Yeah.
So just
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we still continue to do a very stupid, outdated, illogical, worthless practice like daylight savings time. It doesn't matter how dumb that is because you will still get notified if you do those things. So easy.
Thank you. Some Unicorn 1620 just says they like the video. Thank you. That really helps. That really helps us grow the channel. So thank you for that. All right. So we have a video from Mohammed Hijab with the title On Palestine, What Can We Do? So I want to be open-minded here. Maybe Mohammed Hijab has some good suggestions for us.
That's fair.
Let's be open-minded and maybe see if he's if he's making sense here. Like, give him credit if he's right or not. Yeah.
So I agree, of course, right? I agree. Absolutely. I do also because I feel like I want to put out my bias. My bias going into this is that I'm nervous. Like I'm concerned that he's not going to say great things. And I think that's reasonable for me to have that bias, based on the interaction that I've had with his content in the past. But I do want to give that charity. I do want to be as middle of the road as I possibly can, But I'll admit it. I am worried. I am worried. So Unicorn. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So. All right. Let's see what he has to say.
Are happening in the world today. That are happening in the world today. It's only right that we speak about what's happening in Palestine. It's only right that since we're all congregated here together in unity as Muslims, for us also to remember the struggle, the true struggle of our brothers in a Sham region in Palestine, where many of the ahadith of the end days, the Malahim al-Kubra, the signs of the end times, are related to that specific geography.
That's not a great start.
So that's not a great start at all, because he's talking about how important the significance of hadith, because he's like using the plural for hadith, and he's saying the signs of there's a lot of hadith that refers to the signs of end times coming from that region, and there's one hadith. So he's telling you how important this hadith are and how he as a very famous Muslim YouTuber take this hadith very seriously. And there's one specific end times hadith for this region that reminds us, this is a major reminder to that hadith when he talks about that, right? By the way, if you look at behind him,
I was going to say there's an al-Bukhari quote. Yeah.
I just wanted people to understand that how important hadith is in Islam, because even behind him you see hadith, Sahih hadith, right, from al-Bukhari. So this is, Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari are major part of Islamic scripture that are taken very, very seriously. And I don't think this is a good way to start your speech, because by talking about end times hadith, and how important they are when it comes to the issue of Israel and Palestine, everyone starts thinking, everybody that knows their hadith starts thinking about the one hadith that is about Jewish people and the end times. Should I bring it up for people just so?
I very much think you should. I believe I know which hadith you're talking about. I think I know. And what comes to mind is a phrase I've heard a lot of Christians use. Many of my ex-Christian fellows out there will probably know it. What comes to mind is the phrase, "Look at the trees." Is there something? Is that something you're thinking there, Armin?
This is an end times hadith relating to this region, relating to Jewish people, right? So, and again, he himself, Muhammad Hijab, mentioned about hadith referring to end times, and this is one of those. And this is the hadith that is within the charter of Hamas, right? The founding charter of Hamas. And also a hadith that we constantly see people refer to. Muslims refer to when they talk about Israelis and Jewish people, right? So the hadith says, but again, this is Sahih hadith. You can see the reference here, right? And also it's in Sahih Muslim as well, which I could bring it up as well. So it says, the last hour will not, this is Muhammad saying, the messenger of Allah is saying this, Prophet Muhammad. The last hour will not come until the Muslims fight against the Jews, until a Jew will hide himself behind a stone and a tree, and the stone or the tree will say, "O Muslim, there's a Jew behind me. Come and kill him." Right. So all the stones and all the rocks and all the trees will call out when Muslims are hiding from Muslims at the end times, because Muslims before the end times happen, Muslims will be able to take out all the Jews. And Muslims will be hiding behind rocks and trees, and there's a miracle that will happen. The rocks and the trees will speak out and tell the Muslims that there's a Jew hiding behind me, but except one tree, al-Qarqad tree will not say so. That tree will stay silent, for it is the tree of the Jews,
which isn't a real tree, by the way. Not a real tree, as far as I know. As far as I know, this is not referencing any actual species of tree we currently know. It's kind of like in the Bible where they talk about the wood that Noah used to build the ark, but it's a type of wood that like we don't know what tree it came from. Like it's just some made up thing. But yeah.
By the way, as you can see, there's many hadiths saying the same thing. Like that's not that one hadith. Like if you can see, there's this one, this Bukhari, and then there is Sahih. Again, another Sahih Bukhari, another Sahih Muslim.
Not great.
Sahih Muslim. Yeah, this one is also okay. So this one is not Sahih, but the ones above it was Sahih. So there's a lot of it. It keeps going and going and going. So it's a very famous hadith.
I'm trying to be charitable. Okay, I said I was going to try to be charitable. I tried to let you know about my biases, that I was nervous about what he was going to say. We're literally 30 seconds in, and I kind of feel like some of my anxiety has been confirmed already. Let's take a more charitable stance here, okay? Let's not even reference those things. Let's say that Mohammed Hijab is looking at hadiths referencing the end times that don't have to do with the entire erasure of a group of people. Okay, let's say that. Let's say that. That does still mean, though, that in the current situation, the tangible suffering of thousands of people currently happening right now, Mohammed Hijab's first thought is to say, but think about the fact that, like, afterwards, it's going to be better. Like, if this will all be over, soon enough, because the end times are near and we don't have to worry about, this whole living on earth thing anymore. We can just go have the paradise in the afterlife. I think that's really gross. I think that's really gross. Like, imagine if somebody's house burnt down and you were like, hey, at some point you're just going to be dead. So like, you won't even have to worry about not having a house, right? Like, it's just, it's a bad way of responding. So again, I feel like,
afterlife. Go on.
No, you.
No, you. I said believing in afterlife gives you the worst conclusions.
Right. Yeah. You say it all the time. It rots your brain. It just
But let's let him speak a little bit more because we just analyzed the crap out of the first 30 seconds. So let's continue.
It's hard not to.
When many of the ahadith of the end days, the malahim al-kubra, the signs of the end times, are related to that specific job. And when I see the images, as I'm sure you do as well, of children, young girls,
do it at 1.5. I think our audience can handle 1.5.
No, I think it's 1 is fine because I think most of the time it's okay if it's okay because I think most of the delay is because from our commentary because the entire thing is only 15 minutes anyways. So yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Young girls in the hands of women and men, at the hands of the Zionists who have tried to and continue to oppress our brothers and sisters for 75 years. There's no doubt that that fills me with a rage that I haven't felt for a long time.
But no rage for your fellow Muslims in other places, like currently in Pakistan, the Afghans that are being forced to leave Pakistan.
Well, that's different.
That's more than 2 million Muslims there. No rage for the Muslims in Yemen. No rage for Muslims in China. No rage for Muslims in.
I'll keep mentioning Myanmar. The Rohingya until somebody talks about them.
Yeah, same level of rage at all. Just like very selective with your rage. Seems like there is extra rage when there's Jews involved for some reason.
No, I don't think that's I don't think that's the difference. I don't think that there's something else that's more important. I'm confident on this. Also, I just want to say, like, I don't think it's a great idea to like emphasize a group of people with such force that Mohammed Hijab did. Just use any group you want. I'll use Americans, like so
Muslims. You say, like imagine like these Muslims,
right?
The way it's Zionists. If you said about Muslims,
right. It tells a lot more. It tells a lot about what you're saying. I think also, and this isn't super important, but I just want to point it out right now. Like, why is he holding the microphone if it's on a stand with a boom arm? I know that's not terribly important, but look, it's literally on a stand. He's like holding it. Like, my microphone is currently connected to this thing. Like, if you just saw me holding this the whole time, wouldn't that be odd? Like,
well, okay, no, let me defend him.
Okay.
It kind of looks weird if he's just like that.
He should have a podium.
It looks, but he doesn't. So I think it just looks better if he does that. He's doing it he's very self-conscious about how he looks. I mean, you can see by the effort that he puts in how he dressed. Yeah. So he was thinking, like, if I just stand like this talking, that looks awkward.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I think they should have just removed the podium and just gave him the microphone in his hand. I think that's
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I totally think that's right. And I think that's a fair understanding. And I do like his tie. I will say this. I think that's a really, really snazzy.
It's
tie.
Very Zionist, his tie, I
must
say.
It feels kind of
very Israeli.
Zionist, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a good idea to wear. What? I don't think it was a good idea to pick the colors of Israel for this speech.
Do you think he did that on purpose, or do you think it's like the Zionism he's actually a true Zionist and he's just letting it out slowly? I
mean, I don't know. He should have worn a black suit with a tie that maybe has black
Green and red.
with and green in it. Yeah, like what is
he
this?
could have done that. He could have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I really do love that point, though. I really do love that point. He picked the tie that has the colors of the flag of Israel. It's very funny. I think that's a great recognition. So
yeah.
Does it fill you with rage?
Yeah, that's why we're pissed off at Hamas. Like, yeah.
Let me ask that question again because I want to understand and gauge the.
Oh, he was like, he's calling his audience weak and pathetic. It was like, what kind of an answer was
Coward.
that? Let me ask it.
Coward.
You cowards. Answer me stronger.
Let me ask that question again because I want to understand and gauge the emotional reaction.
Yeah, like he's right. Actually, that first answer, like you guys are supposed to be very, very angry. This is the time for virtue signal. Okay, every time Israel and Palestine, if you're a Muslim and you want to bank in on as much virtue signaling as you possibly can, this is an amazing, taking the advantage of Palestinian blood. It doesn't come every year, right? So you have to take advantage of all these Palestinians dying to just make sure that as many Muslims possible notice how angry you are and just get your position within this tribe very, very, noticed by everyone else, right? So this response by, yes, we're angry, is pathetic. This is your chance to show that you're a real Muslim. Look at this.
Does it fill you with rage?
That was really pathetic.
Yeah, look at the look on his face. Seriously, he's obviously disappointed by that response.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's try one more time.
Let me ask that question again because I want to understand and gauge the emotional reaction of the people here in Birmingham. Does it fill you with rage?
There you
see, that was not a good response. But here's the thing, I'm glad that we're seeing the audience, okay? Because look at all these Muslims, okay? A lot of them, you can tell that they're Muslim by what they wear, or you could guess. I mean, you could kind of understand that these are people who are, on average, want to maintain some of their heritage or culture.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the fact that if you see what Daniel Haqiqatjou when he goes to debates, what he wears, you can see he's doing that as well. Because he's like, I don't have to assimilate with your Western culture and wear what you wear and talk like you do. But Mohammed Hijab is fully Westernized, I think, in the way he speaks, in what he brags about, like he brags about being Oxford educated, and how he dresses up.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a big difference. So Mohammed Hijab wants the recognition from both worlds. He wants to fit in in the Muslim community because that's what his bread and butter is. But he also wants to be kind of accepted in society, he wants to be a Western elite, an academic. He wants to be considered an academic elite from a Western perspective. So you can see the difference between how he looks and how he dresses up and the people that usually are around him. That there's a contrast there. Yeah. So just wanted to highlight that.
Does it make you angry to see young children crying on the floor, under rubble, because of the cowardly Zionists that are afraid of face-to-face confrontation? Okay,
so 2 points here.
Go ahead.
2 points here. First of all, me and Elliot just watched a video that he says you should not be grieving them anyway, which we'll be releasing that video on Secular Jihadists because God has promised them victory anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Some gross crap
you
there. But
yeah, so I mean, we are grieving. Yeah, we are angry. We are angry with Hamas, and we are that all of these civilians are dying in Gaza. But you just claimed somewhere else in another video, which will be released to Secular Jihadists, that we shouldn't be grieving at all because God will give them victory anyways. Right? But look at this last point that he just said.
That are afraid of face-to-face confrontation.
Pause it. Holy crap. I mean, does that not instantly throw up a red flag for you like it does for me, man? Is he asking once again for full-scale invasion of Gaza? Like
he thinks that it's not fair that you are using technology, superior technology as a way to fight war. It makes the war not fair.
Right.
Which is insane.
He's completely uneducated when it comes to modern warfare. He probably, I don't know. Maybe he still imagines everything is done in the Napoleonic fashion. I have no idea. Like, yes, I'm with you on that. So does that mean he's doubling down on his call for full-scale invasion? Is that?
Yes. A ground invasion,
crazy.
yes.
That's crazy, Armin. I did not think we were going to get that. I thought, but I really didn't think he was going to say it at all. I definitely didn't expect it in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. But I think the more important point is that he doesn't understand that. Why would you do that? Like, if imagine if you have a gun and you're with your family and your children, and this crazy guy comes at you with a knife. Are you going to be like, I should stop being a coward, and instead of shooting the man that is coming at me and my family with a knife, I should put the gun down and pick up a knife?
Yeah, that's the manly thing to do, Armin.
Does any reasonable person be like, I need to make this fight fair, and I'm going to put away the gun and pick up a knife? You're a moron. If this is what it means not to be a coward, then it's irresponsible not to be a coward.
Yeah. And
what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not like this is one of the things about self-defense that people don't get. Like, and this is frustrating, is because like self-defense isn't exclusively someone has punched you in the face. Now it's acceptable for you to hit them back, right? Like that's not just the only understanding of self-defense. Self-defense also includes security measures for oneself that are completely nonviolent, potentially sometimes, not exclusively though, because there are some, like the exact scenario that you just described, where technically there is a violent outcome. The individual with their family who is being attacked by another person with a knife, that first individual has a gun for self-defense, and they don't have to wait until their child is murdered before they can pull that gun out and use it. Like that is so understandable and reasonable. But like, I definitely don't understand his opinions on this. I just want to say this real quick, y'all. I starred this comment from Angry Keyboard Warrior because it came in a minute ago. And the question is, did he take back endorsing the invasion of Gaza? And here's why I starred this, Angry Keyboard Warrior. I thought it would take longer for us to get to him advocating for that, but it didn't. It was much earlier on. So I just wanted to. I mean,
not that we're against it. It's just weird that he's saying it.
Right. It just is very. It's confusing that he seemingly is advocating for it, especially in this space.
I know what's happening. Because I think he understands that he's like Israel. The question everybody asks: if you want to condemn the IDF's response in Gaza, what would you suggest? And nobody has a good answer, because everybody wants to condemn Israel in responding in the way it is in Gaza, and there are only a few options if it's not doing that. So Israel just got attacked by Hamas, lost a lot of civilians. Option one is to retaliate the way it is right now, going after Hamas, knowing that Hamas hides behind civilians, and targeting Hamas will end up, unfortunately, taking out civilians. That's option one. There is no other way for you to target Hamas with airstrikes and stuff without killing civilians. That's option one. People are calling this a war crime. Okay, well, if that's a war crime, what's option two then? If they can't do that, option two is not to respond, which is insane.
Not an option. Right.
It's not an option, because you're advertising now, because you have it's every government's responsibility to show that it has deterring power. Because if you don't show that, if you're attacked and your civilians are killed in a way and you don't respond, you're basically advertising to all your enemies to attack you and take.
Hey, you're not doing the basic thing that a government's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect its citizens.
Protect the citizen by showing that it has deterring power.
Right.
Like if we get hit, we hit back. Because if you don't show that you hit back, then you're advertising to everybody to come hit you again.
Yeah.
Right? Especially with Hezbollah right there waiting for the opportunity. Right? Yeah. And especially with Hamas itself saying that they will do this again. So you have to show you have but even after the attacks, they announced that they wouldn't do this again when they can. So you have to show your deterring power. So Mohammed Hijab has recognized that when he gets invited to places, asking them if you want to call Israel doing a war crime, what is the alternative? He had to come up with the third solution. And the solution that he has, like, oh, you guys are cowards where you use your technology. You should just go play fair and just go, man to man, like a
walk
brave
through
person
the streets, go house to house, just, in person, one-on-one.
Yes.
That's a full-scale invasion.
Which don't worry, Hamas. That is going. Which don't worry, Mohammed Hijab. That is going to happen.
According to recent statements from Netanyahu and other and IDF officials, that's where they're headed. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
next,
that is happening right now. That is happening right now.
Yeah.
But the point is that Mohammed Hijab doesn't think it's fair because they have superior air, technology, and they could use rockets and using missiles and other technology
to weird response.
But here's the thing: why wouldn't if you go with so Mohammed Hijab wants you to send your soldiers in without first clearing some area so that you have less
so it makes it easier to kill them.
Yeah, so it makes it easier to kill Israeli soldiers. Yeah. So let me tell you why that's not an option. Because that is a betrayal of your soldiers.
Oh.
As you are basically saying, hey, imagine you being this military that says, like, to tell this to your soldiers, especially in a democratic country where you can't really threaten your soldiers to be soldiers. Like, I mean, there are some punishments for them, but nothing
volunteer
compared to
military.
Actually dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even the official military force, if you're not going to execute people who don't fight for you. Maybe there's some punishment for that, but not to the point that. But imagine coming to your military and telling them that, listen, we can do things to protect you, so less of you die, but we're not going to do it so that this is a fair fight. And imagine you telling your soldiers that. I mean, you're not going to have an army. You're not going to have an army. Imagine being able to maintain an army while your soldiers know that you on purpose are sending them into harm's way with extra risk just to level the playing field, just to make it more fair to your enemies.
Yeah, I don't think.
What kind of a soldier would fight for a government like that? Yeah. You will not have an army.
Yeah.
If you're not doing everything you can to protect your soldiers. Yeah. It's an insane suggestion. It's an insane suggestion that Mohammed Hijab is having here.
Yeah, and that's an absolutely great point. And my point is not going to be as good, but I do want to just say it real quick, which is, if Mohammed Hijab is so interested in fairness, what are his thoughts on October 7th?
Yeah.
Where was the fairness there?
Yeah. He would probably just condemn it and be like, of course we will condemn it.
Sure.
He says, and they're careful about how they condemn it because
right.
They don't. Here's a clever trick that I learned that they do. Okay, because they know that a lot of their fans are Hamas sympathizers.
Right.
Most of their fans are Hamas sympathizers, and they don't want to lose the Hamas sympathizers. Right. So they claim that Israel is lying about what Hamas did on October 7th, if it happened, they say, and the wink to their audience is that we didn't condemn Hamas. We said if it happened, if what you say happened. Of course, they don't say, they try not to say the phrase "we condemn Hamas," because that will lose your supporters. They say we condemn any unnecessary civilian killing, and the understanding of their followers is, well, Hamas did not do that. right?
Wow.
And this is how they get to keep both the Western media on their side, because they're like, well, we did condemn that, and their followers also, they will keep their followers as well, because their followers will understand that, well, we didn't condemn Hamas.
Just imagine like trying really hard not to condemn the Yazidis, but being like, we condemn unnecessary killing in the 30s and 40s in Germany, you know, like we condemn the civilian deaths, and then somebody's like, right, so how do you feel about the National Socialists? And they're like, well, you know, again, we just don't like the civilian deaths, you know, that's so frustrating. They're mincing words. But real quick, I just wanted to say our wonderful, fantastic CEO is here. So yes, always
nice,
great
nice.
love. And she asks, have you liked the stream yet? Do it. Don't do it for us. Do it for Susanna. Like, come on. Like, it's easy.
Yeah. And also, I want to say hi to our Hindutva terrorists here who are saying that just a reminder, it's a good reminder at the time that we're seeing so much Islamic radicalism, that somebody just wanted to come here and remind us that, you know, there's radicalism in other religions as well. Darshan Sharma is saying, Armin Navabi, RSS is looking for you. RSS will F you someday. Okay, well, thank you for the reminder that you guys are crazy as well.
Just in case anybody wasn't sure about what's truly an ideology of peace and love. Yeah. There you have it, folks. There you have it.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. All right, let's continue.
Does it make you angry to know that in the very country that we're living in, that our political leaders have no word of condemnation to say about those children?
Bullshit.
Does it?
Oh, I mean, we do. I mean, the condemnation is on Hamas.
He's saying the UK government, not a single member in the UK government right now has said anything condemning the deaths of Palestinian children. And that is just flat stupid. That is a stupid, bald-faced lie. Absolutely. Dozens of individuals, both as individuals and as members of groups, right? Like just absolutely garbage. Like this is what's so frustrating. Like he just lies like that. That's just an outright lie that nobody like that. Yeah. Are there some
you're
people
right,
that
actually there are?
Of course there of course there are. Of course there are. It's an absolute tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy what's happening. And to think that individuals who are part of the British government, who are part of the parliament, have not said something, that's crazy nonsense. That's what he's saying right now. That's just so it's stupid. It's flat wrong, and it's so easily debunked. And it's just weird. It's just so weird. Like, why say that? Why even say that? You know? How is he so popular? I never understand. He is just constantly caught lying.
Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one politician in UK who's like there's a major drama around him, his views on condemning Israel, but they do exist. I mean, they do get a backlash, but they do exist. People who are asking for ceasefire and condemning Israel.
Absolutely.
To say about those children, does it? Are we as the Muslim people going to accept them trying to gag us and to shut us up and to tell us that waving the Palestinian flag is an act of terrorism? Is that what we're going to expect?
I mean, first of all, nobody is saying that. What are you talking about?
Right.
Okay. I mean, but they should. Right. I mean, it's not an act of terrorism, but you guys, when you guys wave the flag of Palestine, unfortunately, you have changed the meaning of the flag of Palestine to support terrorism.
Yeah.
It is not terrorism itself, but unfortunately, it has become a sign in the defense of terrorism.
Not everybody
you're
who
not
does
being
it,
gagged.
but when you do it, Mohammed Hijab.
I mean, the UK is filled with Palestinian flags right now. There's countless of protests with streets filled with Palestinian flags.
London.
I don't know what you're talking about.
London,
yeah. In fact, the videos
in front of
I've
the Buckingham
seen,
Palace, in front of Westminster.
There's a sea of Palestinian flags all over the UK right now. And the video I've seen is that among all the sea of Palestinian flags, the police was surrounding the one guy with the flag of England. In England, you can't hold a flag of England, apparently now. You can't hold the Palestinian flags. Here's the thing. Try holding an Israeli flag right now.
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Pick a city.
No, I mean, specifically where he is.
Yeah.
Specifically where he is. That is hard to do. I think you guys are doing the gagging on pro-Israeli people, because the people who are holding Palestinian flags in the streets of UK right now, they don't feel scared at all. They don't feel intimidation at all. You guys are just crying victim, but you are the ones who are oppressing other people. You're the ones who are silencing other people. The level of intimidation somebody feels in the UK holding an Israeli flag is 1,000 times more than the non-existent fear of anybody holding a Palestinian flag right now in the UK. In fact, people in the UK many people, Muslims in the UK, are holding signs asking for genocide, and they don't feel fear or backlash. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who has gagged you? The Western world, Mohammed Hijab, has given you the loudest speakers that you could ever imagine. You are being paid by Western governments to speak. Your entire platform is a YouTube channel made by Americans and Jewish people. Okay, your entire career, your entire voice has been given to you by the Western civilization. Who's gagging you? Not only they're not silencing you for it, they're paying you for it.
Yeah, kind of hard to make that argument, don't you think? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so hypocritical.
I just wanted to comment on this. Mustafa is saying, I disagree. In America, they'll worship you if you wave an Israeli flag. And I have a couple of different points on that. Okay. But what I do want to just say, is, for instance, published on October 24th of 2023. So like all of 2 to 3 weeks ago, you guys, the ADL Center on Extremism notes nearly a 400% increase in anti-Semitic incidents. Okay. This is, just so you know, 312 specific anti-Semitic incidents between October 7th and October 23 of this year. That's what this is focused on. 190 of those incidences are directly linked to the war in Israel and Gaza. So it's just to say, I know that the United States, especially the GOP and a lot in the Christian evangelical space, have had a history of being extremely overly pro-Israel to a oftentimes disgusting and bigoted stance, in my opinion, because a lot of that support comes from the idea that the Jewish people need to control Israel so that they can get wiped out by Jesus in the end days for all the Christians. It's gross and disgusting, but I agree that that historically has at least been there, right? But to say that it's just the standard sentiment, across the United States, that it isn't. Like, there have been protests. The videos that you guys have seen on the news show here, where there are people in like Sydney, in Birmingham, in various cities in France and stuff like that are just openly calling for the extermination of the Jewish peoples. Like that has happened in the United States too. It absolutely has. So it just I just want to point that out. It's all over. So
I want to I'm actually I was want to show you the level of oppression and silencing of people with Palestinian flags in London.
Yes.
In London, yeah. And
ooh.
And also I want to show you the police brutality against people who have Palestinian flags.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think they're protecting. I think they're protecting them. I don't know.
No, they must be walking. They must be walking forward, beat up some people with a.
I think this is the second before they turn around and beat up the people with the Palestinian flag. I think the picture was taken too early. I think just a few seconds after that, they arrest everybody with that giant Palestinian flag.
Because Mohammed Hijab
it might look like the police is like helping them and protecting them and making them be able to have a safe march.
Right.
But I think this picture is not representing reality. A few seconds after, everybody there holding that Palestinian flag in UK was arrested shortly after this image. I think
okay. Then that would okay, cool. Yeah, good. I'm glad we cleared that up, honestly, because I was
such oppression.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Like that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Like we were wrong.
We're not going to accept that here in Birmingham, in London, or anywhere else. This is an important thing. And it's more than just dua, although that is the most important thing that we can do.
Wait, he said it's more than just dua. I think dua means like prayer. He says it's more than just dua, but although that is the most important thing we could do, really?
Well,
although that is the most.
Let me actually make sure before we criticize him. Is that because that's pretty?
This is an important thing, and it's more than just dua. Although that is the most important thing that we can do.
So,
is the most important thing you could do prayer?
I want to say this. If this is again trying to be the charitable person that I, the most charitable person that I can be, but if what he is saying is that this is not a time for just merely thoughts and prayers, I'm going to say, congratulations, Mohammed Hijab. You're right. I agree with you. I think of all the times to offer thoughts and prayers, this is the worst time to do it. I would agree with you there, although I'm just kind of confused. So I'm just
but he's actually saying the most important thing we could do is dua, which is kind of
he's saying it's not just thoughts and prayers. We have to at least do more.
But it's the most important. But it is the most important thing to do prayers.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
Raising awareness on this issue is extremely important.
He's supposed to be a better speaker. Like, this is very important. This is extremely important. This is not very good,
Do you think he was saying? Do you think he was saying dawa instead of
dua? No, dua. Dua is dua.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's move forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Is extremely important. But I want to say something to tie it to the themes of today. When you see the Zionists attacking children at this level, where they become less than human, effectively, and some of them are speaking in this way, they're saying, we're fighting human animals. Wallah.
Okay, so these people are so dishonest. First of all, that was the Ministry of Defense of Israel, which was referring to Hamas. But even though he was referring to Hamas, I believe he should not have said that. Okay? That is, you should not compare your enemy to animals, even if you're talking about the vile ones, because especially for Israel, who's constantly trying to be painted as a picture of being racist all the time, you need to be, if you're that in that level, you should not use that kind of language, even if you're specifically talking about Hamas and not about all Palestinians, because your enemies will take advantage of that language and try to use that against all Israel as a whole. So that language, you should stop comparing people to animals, especially if you have that role in the government, right? So he's being dishonest, because but even though I condemn what he said and he shouldn't have used that language with that position, a lot of people, I've seen it on Al Jazeera, AJ Plus, and many other narrative media that just act like he was saying that about all of Palestine. And it's so dishonest. I mean, you could condemn the guy for what he said, because I do think that what he said was wrong, but at least be honest about what he said.
Blurring the lines in this time and trying to pretend like everything everybody is saying is advocating for genocide or something, like that is not helpful, and it leads to more harm. You need to be careful about where you draw those lines, people. So be correct when you're quoting what people are saying. So
actually, Yuval is saying, I'm not going to highlight that because it's very bad and YouTube might think we're saying that, but there's a lot of comparison to animals when it comes to the Quran and Hadith of Jewish people within the Quran itself and within the Hadith itself. So
it's the first step.
Exactly. That's actually a very good point, Yuval, because their religion, their prophet compares Jewish people, and there's even to animals, right? And also there's a miracle where Jewish people turn into animals as punishment for their crimes. There's a couple of them actually. So I don't know what these, Mohammed Hijab, your entire religion has these insults about entire groups of people.
But hang on, but at least Prophet Muhammad isn't represented as a perfect example of how to live your life for all time, right? For all peoples. At least that's not, because if that were the case, then it would be really gross. Are you saying it's? Are you saying he is presented?
It is.
Oh, shit.
Okay. All right. Let's continue.
Over a zoo of animals. Wallahi, if we were over a zoo of animals, if we, the people here, went together and we went to the local zoo and we sprayed white phosphorus over the zoo because we claimed there was a few dangerous animals inside of it, and we indiscriminately bombarded that zoo, they would call us terrorists because we are attacking the animals. But when these people see our own children, little girls, in the hands of their parents, they don't actually see it as much as they see their dog at home that licks their face because they are people of najasa.
Okay, real quick. I know you have a comment on that, but real quick. The use of white phosphorus is bad. Okay. Not even going to try to equivocate on that. Has the Israeli military used white phosphorus in Gaza? I thought they only used it against Hezbollah militants in Lebanon.
So far, we think that there might be evidence that they did, but so far we have only evidence that they used it in Lebanon
against militants,
but not in Gaza.
Hezbollah.
Yes,
okay.
Over there.
I just feel like blurring the lines on that is bad. So.
It's important to make sure that we don't have evidence for this. We don't have evidence for it being used in Gaza, and you're only not supposed to be using it in residential area. Outside of residential areas, it is allowed to be used.
Correct.
But let me actually address what he's saying. The thing with the animals is that we don't have, for example, certain animals specifically coming out and killing humans, and then going out and strategically hiding behind thousands of other animals, innocent animals, who is very hard for us to differentiate and identify separately in a residential area, and they all have tunnels underground, and they have hospitals, and they have their military equipment under the hospitals and under the schools. We don't have that situation. Like if there are certain dangerous animals for humans, it's very easy for humans to go and identify which one of these animals are dangerous and basically somehow neutralize them without taking the rest of the zoo. Okay, so your analogy is not a good analogy. By the way, I'm not comparing humans to animals. He is doing that. I'm just responding to his comparison. Okay, so yes, it would be insane if you take out an entire zoo because of certain dangerous animals, because it's very easy for you to go figure out where the source of the problem is and separate that. The problem here we have with Gaza is that Hamas has done everything it possibly can so that you would have to, when you target Hamas, you take out civilians. There's no animal other than humans that could do that effectively. So this is not a good comparison at all.
Yeah.
I think Mohammed Hijab thinks he's being smart here, but you're not being smart at all. But listen to the small part at the end, because a lot of people don't understand what he's talking about in Najis, because he has to generalize all non-Muslims but using Arabic words, so for most people wouldn't understand, while he's condemning other people for generalizing all Palestinians. He just did that about all pet owners, apparently. Okay, all people who have
they see their dog.
So he's basically his point is that these people love their animals more than they love humans. That's the point he's trying to make, right? But
they don't actually see it as much as they see their dog at home that licks their face, because they are people of najasa.
Najas in Islam are impure things.
Oh.
Okay. So, and one of those impure things are dogs. Right? So he says these are people of impurity because they let their dogs lick their face. He's saying this because it's meant to get a disgust reaction from his Muslim audience. A lot of Muslims consider certain things to be very, very disgusting and impure. Dogs are one of them. So the fact that many non-Muslims let their dogs lick their face is seen as something very filthy and disgusting. And what Mohammed Hijab is saying is that he couldn't stop with just saying that these people love their animals more than they love humans. He also had to mention that these are people of impurity, people who let their dogs lick their face, just to get the disgust reaction from his audience. But yeah, go on.
I want to ask this because, again, I admitted right at the beginning my bias. I recognize that in myself. I want to try to minimize that as much as possible. So I have this question, Armin. He's saying these filthy people, he's saying they don't care about the Palestinian lives that have died, even though Mohammed Hijab also doesn't by his own admission, but that's a different story. He's saying these filthy people don't care about the dead Palestinians. Is he referencing Jews there? And if he is that just anti-Semitic? Is that just like
he's talking about all these Westerners and non-Muslims in general.
So he's not specifically talking about like Israeli.
No, he's being bigoted against non-Muslims. Not just
well, hang on.
Jews.
Well, hang on. I'm glad at least it's not just straight anti-Semitism. That's why I asked, because my bias was leading me to think this is just some hardcore anti-Semitic stuff that he's just saying here. But in fact, no, SR. His hatred and bigotry is just towards all the groups of people that are non-Muslim. And that's good. That's good. At least it's not anti-Semitism, I guess. At least he's equal in his hatred towards other groups.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have that. Yuval is mentioning, Yuval, it's not just Shias. In Islam in general, non-Muslims are considered najis. So this is why when you shake the hand of a non-Muslim, you're supposed to go wash it. So before you could pray, because they're considered impure. But also dogs and pigs and pee and poo and blood and cum and all of this is considered najis. So these are all in the same category. Non-Muslims also is in that category, and dead bodies, right? These are the list of impure things in Islam.
Urine's actually sterile, but that's not really. I'm not trying to like defend.
No, it's not about. It's not. It's
I know.
Spiritually impure.
I know. Magically, yeah, I get it.
All right. So we just got a super chat from Asian American. If it doesn't make sense, let's just read it, and I'm not gonna try to make sense of it. If it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna try one attempt, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. So thank you so much, Asian American, for the super chat. Asian American saying, where I come from, animals and plants can turn into humans, gods and dragons through hard work and moral cultivation. And dogs are great. He's such a hater. Okay, thank you so much for that super chat. And then we got another super chat.
I feel like that one makes more sense than this one.
Okay, you read that one.
Yeah, Gaijin says, wait till he finds out about Omegaverse fans. So I'm not 100% positive what you're talking about, Gaijin, but I feel like that's the fun.
Yes, but thank you for the super chat. Much. Yes, yeah. Let's continue. Wait, why was this message deleted by Norman? Just let me make sure. What the hell is happening here? Why, Norman, why did you delete Unicorn's message?
It may have
he was just smiling. Yeah, he was just smiling. Okay, guys. No, Norman, Unicorn is not spamming. What are you doing? You removed Unicorn's message. Stop doing that, Norman. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Just continue. Okay, Norman, do not do any moderating at all in general. Okay, because I don't want to lose people over this.
The dog and the cat, because they are people of najasa. The dog and the cat that they have at home, the pet, in this country, I guarantee you, they rate those animals, they respect those animals, they love those animals more than they love us. Wallahi, it's not just the people of Palestine. Those elements, the Zionists and their supporters, they are dehumanizing every single one of you.
Jesus Christ.
And it's not just the Zionists and their supporters. There are many segments of society, unfortunately, a growing number that feels that way about us.
Okay, real quick. I'm going to be quick just because I know we need to get further through this video, but this is the us against them mentality that has been used by fascist and genocidal agents of history for thousands of years. This is what you do. You go into a group of like-minded individuals that already believe what you believe, and you stir up hatred by telling your group that the others hate you. The others are looking for a chance to kill you. Just let down your guard for a second, and you'll be overrun by those people because they're so terrible. That just all that does is entrench division and purposeful misunderstanding and hatred and violence. So that's just that is an Adolf H tactic, straight up, that Mohammed Hijab is using right now.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Some of them want to take our bodies, and the other ones want to take our soul.
Oh, do you know what this is referring to? So he's talking about the right and the left.
Oh, now I get it. Oh my gosh.
So and this is why some Muslims hate the left, even though they use them, but they hate them more than the right, because they say fake Muslims hate the right more because they focus on this life, and the right-leaning people take away this life. They wrong you in this life, but at least you keep your soul. Okay, But left-leaning people are more dangerous because they treat you well in this life, but they take your your religion away, your iman away. They give you LGBT, they give you like women's rights, and they tempt you with leaving Islam. And that's more. So when he says some of them take your body away and some of them take your soul away, he's basically referring to right-leaning people and left-leaning people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah.
Take our bodies and the other ones want to take our soul. We need to learn now that.
Yeah, exactly. Dunya versus deen. Dunya versus akhirat. Dunya means this world, deen means religion, or akhirat means afterlife, right? Which one is more important, right? So, you might cry about like, oh my God, they're like killing us and they're, oppressing us. But real Muslims are more upset about the Muslims who are leaving Islam or taking Islam less seriously. That is a bigger tragedy than the Muslims who are dying. Because at least the Muslim who's dying ends up in heaven. The Muslim who's losing their religion, they will have eternal misery.
Okay. So Mohammed Hijab doesn't care about the lives of Palestinians. He cares about the afterlives of Palestinians. Is that
that is more important? Like they care about, they claim they might care about both, but that's more important. D has 3. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Say D has 3 Zionist cats, and I like that. I'm gonna make sure that my dogs are Zionists as well.
Yes, please teach them correctly.
I don't want to do that actually, because then I say, oh my God, cats. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
because if I say Zionist,
yeah.
Okay, no,
right.
This is so unfair because why?
Right.
Why is dog an insult and cat is nobody would think that you're making an insult to Zionists by saying Zionist cats.
You need this is an
anti-dog. This is an anti-dog mentality. That dog is an insult and cat isn't. It's not fair.
That's right. There's so much bigotry against dogs.
Dogs. It's true. No man is saying I deleted unicorn messages by mistake. Sorry, that's completely okay. I understand you're tired right now. No man, it's fine. It's fine.
Do you see the starred comment that I have, and do you want to say anything about it real quick?
Oh, here. Yeah, okay. So no, that's a very good point. Okay. So Thinking Robot is saying it is very easy to comment trash on someone's video.
True.
Go live with Hijab and see how he obliterates you and your atheistic agenda.
Coward.
I like this. I like this because this actually shows that based on this standard, Mohammed Hijab is a coward. Because guess what, Thinking Robot? I actually invited him to a debate and he did not respond.
No.
So I hope you are fair now because you think I am a coward here. Right, and I'm doing the easy thing, but now based on your own standard, you should be calling out Mohammed Hijab, unless you're a hypocrite. You're not a hypocrite, are you? If you're not a hypocrite, you now have to admit that Mohammed Hijab is a coward. Right?
Sure,
go ahead and do that.
I'm sure. Look, Armin, let's be charitable. I'm sure Thinking Robot did not know that you had publicly challenged Mohammed Hijab to a discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that now that this knowledge is out there, that Thinking Robot and other good followers and fans of Mohammed Hijab who are just interested in learning the truth and getting to the right answer, I'm sure they will now reach out to Mohammed Hijab so that he accepts that invitation. I'm sure that's what will happen. I feel confident. I feel very confident.
Yeah.
So.
Read this one.
Yeah. We got a super chat from Mustafa saying, talking about Hijab. He doesn't want to obliterate. He wants to deport. Yes. Which, by the way, I believe Mohammed Hijab has said deporting people from their land is actually genocide. I believe he's taken that stance.
Oh, yeah, right. But he wants to deport ex-Muslims.
I don't think it counts. It's not the same somehow.
Not the same.
It sounds like he's advocating for genocide there, but I'm sure there's an answer.
Let's continue. Let's try to get this.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to ally with these people at all. Whether it's the left wing, who are forcing our children LGBTQ, brainwashing in our schools.
Oh my God.
That's what he means by taking our soul.
Wow.
That's what he means by taking our soul.
Holy crap.
So this is taking our soul. So this is he's comparing that to people dying in mass numbers. Okay, they are taking your soul. So that's the left.
Even though it's against their understanding of human rights, because according to the Charter, we have a right to educate our own children according to our views.
That is not according to the Charter. You're lying. There's nothing within the human rights Charter.
Where is that?
That is not. No, you could go.
My God.
You could go. You're making stuff up.
I think
Mohammed
there's.
Hijab.
I think there's aspects of various UN charters that would disagree with that statement. That anybody's just allowed to teach whatever the hell they want to their kids. It's like.
No. In fact, it's the opposite. The Charter tells you that children are supposed to get certain education, even if the parents don't want that education. So it's the Charter says the exact opposite, Mohammed Hijab. Maybe actually go and study what you're talking about before you make a fool out of yourself. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
According to the human rights. Yet they're forcing our children this. Trying to take this.
What about math? Like, when I say, as a parent, can I say, like, you know what? It is my right to force my children not to study math. Like, can I do that? How is that a violation of your rights? That's actually a violation of children.
You're imposing
That's a violation of the children's rights.
You're imposing your Western liberal atheist values, Armin. How dare you try to teach math to kids? It's not as if there is a rich cultural tradition with both the Arabic people and even Islam circumstantially with math or anything. It's not like that's very obvious, and like a huge foundation of the math that we understand today comes from the Arabic.
No, but I'm just using it as an example to show how ridiculous it is. It is against the rights of the children for the parents not to give them the basic education that a liberal country has decided that they need.
Yes,
it is against the children's right. So if you want to, they think you own the child. These people think you own your children. That your children are a citizen of a country, and every country's government has the responsibility and the duty to take care of them, even if that's against the wishes of the parents. The parents don't actually literally own the kid.
I made the kid, they're my property, Armin. Clearly, that's the obviously correct response.
Came out of my genitals, so it's mine.
Right. That's how it works. That's how it works. So.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And we got a super chat from Nomad saying, if Mohammed Hijab accepts the invitation, I'm shaving my hair. Okay. Sounds good.
You hear it? You hear it, folks?
Yes.
Come on, Mohammed Hijab. We know you'll accept because clearly, you want to have these discussions. You want to be honest with people. Like, you want to come to truth.
Human rights. Yet they're forcing our children this. Trying to take their souls away from them. And on the right wing,
that's what they're trying to do. But that's the whole point of the LGBT agenda, is to steal children's souls. But now that's the left. Now let's see what the right.
Our children this, trying to take their souls away from them. And on the right wing, wallahi, they don't care if you're alive or dead. This is the environment that we're living in. We have no time to bicker. In the da'wah, mashayikh, the ulama, the imams, we have no time to bicker, do we? Do we have time? Do we have time for this unity? These matters are the matters.
So he's basically saying everyone is after us. The left is after our souls, and the right-leaning people are after our bodies. So Muslims have to unite. Muslims should not fight among each other. Muslims should unite against all these enemies. By the way, says the person that constantly went after Muslims for a huge part of his career. But yeah,
I mean, right. I was going to point that out, and I was going to point out some of the things I feel like you might have brought it up earlier about some of the Muslim on Muslim violence that's been happening for, like, the genocide in Yemen. Like, that is a genocide committed against Muslims by Muslims. Is that what he's talking about when he says we don't have time for this unity?
If you actually wanted to show unity, you would have spoken in the support of your Muslim brothers and sisters when they were also being attacked by other Muslims. But nobody apparently they don't give a crap about that. Again, this is not about caring for Muslims. This is not about, that's a lie. This is not about caring for Muslims. This is about hating Jews. All of this is about hating Jews.
Yeah.
In which we must come together on birri wa taqwa. We as the Muslim Ummah must come together as one jasad, one body. Al-Muslim kal-jasad al-wahid. The Prophet Muhammad said the Muslim to the other Muslim is like one body. In another hadith he says, kal-bunyan, like a building, yashuddu ba'duhu ba'da. It pulls itself together.
Is he talking about
Wallahi.
No, he's talking about Prophet Muhammad having hadith saying that, talking about we need to have Muslim unity among the Muslim community.
Right. No, I got that, and my then follow-up was, is that how he feels about the Ahmadis? Is that how he feels about Sufis?
Because they're not Muslim, according to him. So I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't think he does.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
That would seem to. There seems to be some conflicting thoughts on this. Yeah.
I don't even know if Muhammad Hijab considers Shias to be Muslims.
It might go that.
Does anybody know? Wow. Does anybody know if Muhammad Hijab considers Shias to be Muslim at all? Somebody.
So, like, I was at least trying to pick some groups that are in the minority. You know, I mean, Shias are too. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing, but like, Shias are the largest.
Oh, he does.
Minority. Okay, so, right? Like that's
so he does. So he does consider at least Shias to be. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I wonder how he feels again about then the Ahmadis and the Sufis. I wonder if he's Ismailis. I wonder if he's in the because it sounds like
I think he would. I think Ismailis he would consider them to be Muslim.
Okay, that's good.
Ahmadis, that would be tough. I don't know. I'm not going to make any assumptions.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
Those elements in society will never accept you. ولن ترضى عنك اليهود ولا النصارى حتى تتبع ملتهم. Those Jews and Christians will never accept you, the Quran says, until you follow their way.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm very glad that he's reading this out loud for us, because a lot of our audience might think that we're misrepresenting them. Because you can see how Islamic scripture is specifically talking about Jews and Christians. When I'm like, as the Jewish people and the Christian people, not specific Jews, not specific Christians, those Jews and those Christians, it's like you cannot, basically Prophet Muhammad is telling you that you will not find allies in Jews and Christians. You cannot have them as friends. I mean, I'm not saying this. Muhammad Hijab is telling you this. When I'm telling you that this whole thing is about bigotry, their religion is bigoted, he's just telling you. He's telling you. He's reading the scripture for you. I'm not making this stuff up. Look at this. Look what the force that he's putting.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Is like a,
he's feeling
this
himself
is like a Nazi
now.
speech. Yeah, this is like a speech I would imagine like Adolf H. with, like, you know.
That's why I said that. This is your whole putsch. That's what he's doing. He's taking the exact freaking playbook, and he's riling people up and saying, "Look how bad they are. They hate you." Like, Yep.
But listen to this. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. He's bragging about this kind of hadith.
حتى تتبعوا ملتهم. Those Jews and Christians will never accept you, the Quran says, until you follow their way.
So you do not their friendship is fake. You know, the only way that the Jews and Christians will follow you, accept you as friends, is if you give up on your religion. So you have to choose between your religion and their friendship. And he's telling you, don't choose their friendship. Don't be friends with Christians and Jews, because they will never accept you unless you leave Islam, unless you don't follow Islam.
And
you have to choose Islam. He's telling you to choose Islam over Jews and Christians.
And he's not even telling you that. He's just relating to you the message that Allah commanded. Don't forget that. That's what he's quoting. He's saying the Quran itself says this. And he's right. He is correct in relaying that information. But just remember what that means is that the text of the Quran itself is just flat full of bigotry. Because it again, like Armin pointed out, it's not saying those Christians, those Jews that we historically had a geographic dispute with. No, it's saying all of them. All of them hate you and want to do this, want to do these terrible things to you. You can't ally with them. So, again, just when we say, remember what's underlying all of this is this bigotry and hatred and genocidal thoughts, it's not us actually saying that. It's Mohammed Hijab. It's Mohammed Hijab quoting the Quran.
Yeah. Okay, so, and also, this guy, Al, in the live chat is saying, you may laugh talking to us. You may laugh whilst hundreds of children are getting bombed and you're mocking. You're both disgusting.
Wow.
I mean, when did we mock children being bombed? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's just like, I understand that. And I don't know. I've never seen this commenter before. I'm sure they're a real person and not a sock account, because nobody has fake accounts online. But while you're saying stupid stuff like this, Armin and I are actually trying to help perpetuate better ideas that bring about more well-being and less suffering and the death of children, you know? And it'd be really cool if you could get on board with that. Because, like, we don't like the deaths of children. We don't like that. We are against that here. It's a bold stance, I know. We're not cowards on that, at least. But, yeah, it's just like, we're mocking the stupid things that Mohammed Hijab says that are clearly false. Like when he said nobody in the UK government is against the deaths of the Palestinian children. That's so garbage of a response, dude. But like, yeah, we're definitely not laughing at and mocking the deaths of children. Like,
yeah, I just wanted to show you the level of pushback against us, which is crazy. But anyway, let's continue.
So do men and women and our families, husbands and wives, do we have the luxury of being at each other's throats, at being in a war with each other, at disuniting the family, of doing qata' al-rahim, which is one of the major sins of Islam, where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "La yadkhul jannah qati'un." The one who cuts the ties of kinship will not enter Jannah. And
Jannah means heaven, right? So he's just basically continuing on this whole Muslim unity against the Jews and Christian narrative. But let's continue.
We have people withholding the children from their father. We have people not speaking to their mother. We have people not discussing. You have relatives that you don't even speak to. How are we meant to face the world when we can't even face our own families? We can't even get unity in your own home. You're incapable because you hold grudges. We hold grudges and we have ghil and hasad and hiqd, envy and anger and resentment. ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله? Allah asks, is it not time for the believers, for their hearts to be softened by the remembrance of Allah? It is time. It is time. What can you do for Palestine? What can you do for the oppressed Muslims all over the world? Start with your own homes. Start with your own communities. Enough is enough of this message.
I'm sure the people in Gaza will very much appreciate that. I'm sure you spreading hatred against Jews and Christians and calling for unity so you could be better against Jews and Christians are going to very much be helping the miserable lives that Palestinians are having in Gaza. I'm sure that's going to make a huge difference.
I was really a little confused, and OK is asking too, like, what is bro on about? Like, and I was kind of unsure too, because I was thinking, and again, I've told you guys my bias. I'm trying to check it as much as possible, but where that was pushing me was to the point of saying, is Mohammed Hijab currently advocating that if you've cut off ties in your family with other Muslims because they're anti-Semitic and want to exterminate?
No, that's not what he's saying.
No, okay.
No. So yeah, he's saying that he's saying we Muslims need to put our differences aside.
Got that.
We should unite with each other. We can't rely on Christians and Jews. We cannot befriend Christians and Jews. We cannot rely on right-leaning people and left-leaning people. Everybody is against us, and we have to face all of these threats. So we should start at home and be better with each other so we could fight all of these enemies. We are stronger against all of these enemies.
And
that's where,
right. And I just want to make sure I'm following you here, because I feel like I'm with you. And again, the unity amongst the families is to fight the non-believers and exterminate Jews. That's what he's going for? Is that the end result of it?
Well, he doesn't. He's not specifically saying that here.
Okay.
I don't think he means that. I think right now he's just saying to face off all of these people that we cannot. We cannot rely on. They're all against us. So we should face them together. And
this is why I asked, because I felt like for a minute there, what he was saying was, hey, make amends with your family members so that we can get together and do the eradication thing. And I was like, oh my God.
No, Mohammed Hijab wouldn't say anything
outright
like that ever. Okay.
Right. He wouldn't say it outright.
Well, I mean, I try to be as charitable as I possibly can be. Right. And I would assume that. So I would say that this is a man that pushes for a religion that advocates for eradication of Jewish people.
Okay.
That's as far as I'm willing to go.
He doesn't push for the direct eradication.
Yes. I wouldn't like, I want to always be careful not to accuse somebody of something that I don't have evidence for.
No, right? I appreciate that. Yeah, that's good. That's why I asked. That's why I asked you guys again. See how much we're doing right now to try and be charitable with his takes. Like, the level of charity is not equal on both sides. So
yeah.
Attacking this masjid on this for trivial and peripheral issues. We've got big issues. We have Zionists trying to take over Masjid al-Aqsa, killing our children. We have LGBT. We have the feminists. We have this one. This one wants to take your soul, and this one wants to take your body. And we're.
But this is also shows how religion rots your brain, because look at the level of priorities, right? Are these even comparable? Because somebody was they're putting, talking fighting for LGBT rights and telling children at school to not hate LGBT people. I mean, they're not making your kids LGBT in school. They're just telling them not to be mean to LGBT people.
That's too
So
that's too far, Armin. That's too far.
Yeah. So that when you put that next to Gazan children being bombed into pieces, as I've seen, it just shows to me how rotten your brain is when it comes with Islam.
Absolutely.
Because at one side you have like I'm seeing things that I can't even describe. I don't know if I can describe on YouTube, right? But when it comes to children in Gaza, it crushes you. It like is no children deserves to experience anything like that, right? And you put that next to your kids being told at school to not hate on LGBT people and the fact that they just exist. I mean, one of these things is not like the other one. And the interesting thing is, you might say like, well, Armin, he's not saying that they're saying. Yeah, you're right. He's saying that the LGBT one is worse.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right.
Yep. You're correct. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when it comes to one of them is taking your body and the other one is taking your soul, guess which one is more important in Islam?
Yeah.
Which one do you think is more as important in Islam? Your body or your soul? Obviously, the one who's taking your soul away is doing you more harm.
Yeah.
Religion
really like
poisons everything.
Yeah, totally. And I really like this from Riyadh. Just the LGBT and feminists want to take your soul. Mohammed Hijab at an event to supposedly help Palestinians. Like,
good point.
What? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The reason why he thinks this is relevant here is because this whole Israel-Palestine thing happened right in the middle of Muslims getting closer to right-leaning people, right? So this is a seesaw that keeps happening with Muslims in Western countries, right? So a lot of Muslims, when they experience a lot of welcoming and celebration by left-leaning people at first, because they're the minority and they're immigrants and they're refugees and left-leaning politics is supposed to support them. So they're like, oh my God, these are my people, right? Thank you so much, and they will go. And by the way, a lot of times they don't return the favor. So you see a lot of leftist institutions supporting Muslims, but you don't see Muslim institutions supporting LGBT or feminism. Right. So this is a one-sided relationship, right? And at first they get close with each other, like, okay, these are the people that I need to take advantage of. And then they're like, oh my God, they're coming for my kids. They're making my kids gay and all of that. And we're like, wait a minute, these people who we used to think they're our friends, they're not our friends. These right-leaning people who we thought we hate them because they were bigoted against us, which they are, but they have the same values as us.
They're also bigoted towards other people, right?
Yes. So they start getting closer to right-leaning people. And that was the phase we were right in before this whole Israel-Palestine issue. A lot of Muslims like Daniel Haqiqatjou were like, oh, us conservatives, we need to unite against this threat of liberalism. We might have different religions, but at least we could be conservative together against the threat of liberalism. And huge Mohammed Hijabs of the world and Smile to Jannahs of the world and Daniel Haqiqatjous of the world were like, okay, we could ally on them being conservative. And then all of a sudden this whole Palestine issue comes and they notice, oh my God, all these right-leaning people are supporting Israel and they're anti, and we hate that. So, by the way, for all the wrong reasons, many right-leaning people support Israel, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, F these right-leaning people. And they notice all of a sudden left-leaning people coming out and saying, I stand with Palestine and being anti-Israeli. So they go back to be like, oh, wait a minute, should we go back to left-leaning people because they seem to be anti-Israel and they say we stand for Palestine? So they're like, what are we doing here? Because we were just on the road to becoming closer to right-leaning people, and now we're all of a sudden we have all these left-leaning people coming out and joining us in marches and being anti-Israeli. So it's confusing. That's why Mohammed Hijab is pointing out that how about none of these guys? How about forget the Christians, forget the Jews, forget the left-leaning people, forget the right-leaning people. Our only allies are our fellow Muslims. That's the whole point of this speech that is having here.
You know, and that is all a really, really good point. I wonder just very quickly if there's a place where I could go to maybe find something on this topic specifically related to the Israel Palestine. Oh my gosh, look at that. Armin actually wrote an article for Quillette called Queers for Palestine that kind of highlights this and explains this in detail. Oh my gosh.
No.
So there you go, folks. Go read that after this is over. You will get a very good understanding of what he was just saying.
Well, thank you. All right.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good time. I thought it was a good time. I'm great at shilling. I know how to plug. Like the stream, fuckers. Right. Sorry.
We have this one. This one wants to take your soul, and this one wants to take your body, and we're fighting each other. Is that reasonable? Is it reasonable?
Is it?
What we will do, therefore, I'm not asking you pledge for money or charity or fundraising, but make a pledge within yourself that when you go back home to your families, that you will, and I will, and we will swallow our pride. We will swallow our pride. If your wife is upsetting you, you see the bigger picture. I'm doing this for the family. I will discipline her in the right manner.
Oh my God.
If your husband...
Wait, this was almost wholesome.
Oh my God.
This was almost wholesome.
Oh my God.
What did he just say?
Yeah, maybe we heard that wrong. You guys. Please replay that real quick.
But I'm going to put captions.
It's upsetting you. You see the bigger picture. If your wife is upsetting you, you see the bigger picture. I'm doing this for the family. I will discipline her in the right manner.
Holy crap. So just guys, look.
I thought this was going to be some. I thought this was going to be like, okay, seems like a wholesome message until you realize he's saying this. We need to do all of this to face all our enemies. But it wasn't. He didn't even let me make that joke because it wasn't even wholesome.
Right. He didn't even get through the first example before it was like, holy crap! What are you advocating for here, man? Jesus Christ. Like, he could have, this is the thing. He could, thank you. Yes, exactly, Susanna. That took a turn quick, so quick. He started out that sentence with something essentially along the lines of putting aside differences and past regressions and pride so that we as community members in Islam, but also family members, like neighbors, we can come together. We can put aside these differences. And the first example he decides to use, which just in case anybody's unsure, he's clearly been looking down at notes this whole time, you guys. He doesn't have this memorized. He's not coming up with this stuff off the top of his head. He wrote this out and edited a speech. And the first example he decided to go to was disciplining your wife because she's annoying you.
No, but this is in the context, and this is in the context of Muslim unity.
Right?
Like, so even when you're talking about let's put our differences aside and not fight amongst each other and be Muslims together, befriending
Not if it's
each
a mouthy
other.
woman. Yeah, no.
No, but even without that context, that we're not supposed to fight each other. Okay, like we have the Christians and the Jews and the left-leaning people coming for our soul, and the right-leaning people coming for our body. So we need to unite. But obviously, we need to discipline our wife.
Yeah,
I mean we can't put that part away. Like wives need disciplining.
Gotta make sure they're in their place. Like, come on. Like,
So,
God forbid your wife come out and say something, crazy like
for Palestine.
I think Israel needs to, have a right to defend themselves. God forbid she say anything absurd like that.
Yuval is saying, you're upset with me right now, sweetie, but I did that for Palestine.
I love that.
Okay,
I love that comment. Oh my God.
Oh my
God.
For Palestine.
I love that. For Palestine.
Oh my God. Spanking your wife for Palestine. I didn't know that's a thing.
Which again, I want to remind everybody, just in case. See, I'm not an Arabic speaker. I wasn't raised with Islam, so I'm a Westerner. I don't understand, so I have to go to the correct sources. Oh my gosh, yeah. Whew. Yeah, sorry, hang on, I just saw that. But I have to go to the correct sources, okay? And when going to the correct sources, that verse in the Quran about disciplining your wife is not saying that you can beat your wife. It's telling you to beat your wife. So it's an important distinction. Yeah.
Yes. But let me try to make sense of this. How about that? Like, do you want me to do that?
Try. Go ahead.
Let me actually listen to him a few more seconds, see if I can make sense of this. Because you might wonder, like, why is he talking about disciplining your wife right in a speech about Muslim unity? That seems like
make sense.
Counterproductive. Yeah, but let me try to make sense of it. Hold on.
If your husband is upsetting you, instead of having the ghil and this and that, no, we have children. We've got a bigger picture.
Okay, I think I understand now. Hold on. Let's go back to the disciplining your wife. I will translate this to you, okay?
Okay.
I'm doing this for the family.
Okay.
We will swallow our pride. If your wife is upsetting you, you see the bigger picture. I'm doing this for the family. I will discipline her in the right manner.
Right. So obviously, you're not going to not discipline your wife.
Of course.
Right?
Sure.
So yes. So because that would not fly. Like when you say, so husbands and wives are fighting. If the wife is upset with the husband, she should just, shut up and understand that we need to come together. However, the husband, you can't say the husband. Here's the thing: you have your hands are tied by Islam here, right? So the wife should stop bothering the husband. But the husband, you cannot tell the husband to not do anything against the wife because it's Islamic teaching to do so. So that you understand? Because if he came out and said, for the sake of Muslim unity, do not react to your wife doing something that is wrong.
Okay.
Because if you say that, you're saying something against the Quran. The Quran commands you to discipline your wife if she's being disobedient. So the best he can ask for here is not to discipline her, is to discipline her in the right way. Basically asking you to chill and maybe don't go too hard. Like while you're disciplining her, maybe don't black out her eye or something.
Okay.
Maybe just beat her. Maybe beat her a little bit.
Right.
But make sure that she's like don't be too harsh on the disciplining part. Does that make sense? But
no. I understand. I thought earlier when you said you're going to translate it, it was going to make it better, but it doesn't. It's. I
mean, he is telling you not to beat the crap out of her. Like, but that's what he means by the right way. Like he means like just discipline her, but don't feel chill.
I mean, I still don't really feel much better about it. I guess like technically it's better. I guess technically it is, right. But it's like
for the sake of for the sake of Palestine, when you're beating your wife, don't give her a black eye. For Palestine. For Palestine, just be gentle when you're beating your wife.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for progressing human society.
I'm sure those children who are dying in Gaza will very much appreciate the fact that you are beating your wife lightly, not as harshly as before. I think it's going to help a lot. I think it's going to help many, many Palestinians, and it's going to end the suffering in Gaza.
Yeah, I'm
No?
All right.
Yeah.
No, I just I'm
see the bigger picture here.
See the bigger that's what I want to do, is see the bigger picture.
Yes.
So maybe I just don't see it yet. I don't.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
If your husband,
somebody's saying such a progressive Muslim. By the way, I'm so. This is why I love these channels. I mean, we don't have to tell you these things, okay? When I say this religion is anti-Christian and anti-Jew, you don't have to believe me. I will just play Mohammed Hijab for you. Now, when I tell you, like, this is the maximum Muslim unity he's asking for. Like, when I'm talking about this religion teaches you to beat your wife and discipline her, you see that even when they're asking for unity among Muslims, they can't put the wife disciplining part away.
Right.
That's you have to still do that, even with maximum unity. All right. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
is upsetting.
Oh my, yeah. So D banned this Hindutva account. Okay, who was like in the live chat, who constantly saying, "I'm a secret Muslim doing taqiyya," right? So this guy, this Hindutva account, because D banned him because he was like posting nonstop, he went and made another account and he's back. And I just love D. Don't ban it. I know he's spamming, but don't ban this guy, because I just love the attacks that I get from this account. I don't know who this guy is.
It's amazing.
But Atheist Republic is an agent of ISIS. Apparently, this is what the type of attack we get from Hindutva accounts, which is amazing. I just love the level of entertainment that we get. Oh, Susanna has the comment here. Do you want to read this?
Yes, I do. Because this. So Susanna's commenting on Mohammed Hijab's unity call there and saying, imagine this like a movie, a violent DV scene. All of a sudden, he catches sight of the Palestinian flag his wife had brought home from the protest earlier. He pulls back his fists in remorse. Not today.
That was beautiful. Oh my God, Susanna, you should be a screenwriter. This is beautiful.
This is insane. That's what I'm saying. This is insane. What he's actually advocating for, honestly. Like, yes, Susanna dramatized it there a little, you guys, but not really. I mean, that's what Mohammed Hijab was saying is the right call. My God. Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
I will discipline her in the right manner. If you're
one more time,
I'm doing this for the family. I will discipline her in the right manner.
Oh my God.
If your husband is upsetting you, instead of having the ghil and this and that, no, we have children. We've got a bigger picture, because the families make up the communities, and the communities make up the ummah.
The Ummah means the Islamic community, the Islamic group, the entire Muslim world. That's what he's talking about.
Right, so right. Except for the Uyghurs or the Rohingya or the Afghans in Pakistan.
But this is what a lot of ex-Christians or atheists in the Western world can relate to, right? Your conservatives, this is about, preserving the family as the foundation of the community. This is the narrative you hear a lot from Christian conservatives.
Because nothing ever bad happens in families. We all know that.
Yeah. No, but it's. I mean, I like families. I want to protect families. But the problem is that they're when they say they're for family, this is just them being big. It's just a masking of bigotry, basically.
Yes.
You know,
and them denying
family,
and perpetuating the violence that happens, the domestic violence and stuff that happens. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to. Yeah, so for family just means anti-LGBT. That's my point. But here's the thing: I don't want to. I know I don't like doing this to ex-Christians, but I have to do this here, okay? Because as an ex-Muslim, I know you guys have your problems with conservative Christians, okay? And you have a lot of examples to show as ex-Christians that Christian fundamentalists, when they talk about family values, they're not actually for family. In fact, they do a lot of things that is harmful to family, okay? You have that. But you will never be able to compete with ex-Muslims. When we point the fact that the people who advocate for beating your wife are supposed to be the promoters of family values. You don't have that. You don't have in Christian scripture telling husbands being commanded to beat their wife. And the people who promote that book come and say like, oh,
good point.
The other people are against family values and we are the promoter. We are the flag bearers of family values.
We do have.
He literally just, even here right now, he was talking about disciplining your wife right here, right before he said that we need to preserve family.
Right. No, I get you. You're right. And I appreciate you, Bull. You know, it's not a competition. I mean, we do.
We win.
We ex-Christians do have some verses that explicitly talk about how to kill your children, you know? So like, I don't know if that's in the Quran. We literally tell you to stone your child if it's a daughter and she's not a virgin. So fair. I mean, it's a toss up. Yeah, I know this is a crazy debate, but like maybe one day.
That was a good comeback. I will give you that.
And we have one specific for sons too. We have one specific for sons and daughters. You're supposed to kill them in different ways for different reasons.
It's one of the 10 commandments actually. If you are impolite to your parents, you're
honor thy father and mother
to death.
It's a big,
but people don't read the whole thing. It says honor the father. If you actually read the full commandment, if you don't honor them, you're supposed to stone them.
Maybe we'll do a stream in the future about how terrible the family values.
We should compete. We should do a stream where we compete against each other. I'm like, that would be 1 point for me, and then let's see who would get the most points. Yes, exactly. That would be a good stream. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right.
It all starts from in here, from within your heart. Tamhis, cleaning, tanqiyah, removing, being forgiving, being generous, being good, and then realizing that we have a priority at hand. When that happens, like wallahi, I tell you this, I've been in the public sphere for about 9 years now. This is the 10th year. This time round, haven't you noticed that with this issue of Palestine, there's been more unity than ever? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that our voices are louder than ever? Have you?
This is actually very true. This is why the Palestinian excuse is such a powerful weapon. This is why using Palestinian blood and their bodies for radicalization and mobilization of Muslims around the world works so effectively, because it basically separates Muslims from the rest of the community and brings them together as an ummah, and it creates an us versus them mentality. This is why the Palestinian
Why? I think you're probably right in that assessment. And I guess what I'm confused about is what's different about this situation that is
it has Jews in it because the enemies are Jews. It's so effective because it has Muslims being oppressed by the most vile people imaginable according to Islam.
Oh,
so it's such a perfect, shitstorm of, evil versus good narrative that could bring Muslims together, right? So because you have your myths of evil versus good that people use constantly as a way to bring your community together, because you have to create enemies like devils, demons, the Antichrist. All of these have effective, are very good at bringing people together against a made up enemy. Okay, but none of these made up enemies ever work as effectively as real ones in real life, because you could feel them, you could see them, you could see it on the news. You could see many other religious communities, they need a present evil. The myths and the stories are not good enough, right? So if you have an oppressor versus oppressor mentality, and the ones that are supposedly the oppressors are literally the ones that your religion defines as evil, and then you have that fight happening in real world, there's nothing better of using that narrative as a way to bring your group together against this, now instead of a made-up enemy, a real existing enemy in the real world. It just writes itself. It's perfect for radicalization.
Yep.
And separation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought that was a great point, was that the unity that he's celebrating here, the coming together of all backgrounds and viewpoints and yada, yada, that underlying all of that truly is, at the end of the day, a hatred for a group of people and a desire and call for radicalism. That's what he's actually highlighting here. So
right, because it's a coming together, but it's more of a separating, because it's not just it's the coming together of Muslims, but on the other side of it is a separation from the rest of the community. It's an us versus them mentality that is being created here. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, he is basically transparently is giving you an us versus them narrative, which is exactly how radicalization, spreads. This is cult mentality that you're just seeing here right now. Yeah.
Haven't you noticed 9 years now? This is the 10th year. This time round, haven't you noticed that with this issue of Palestine, there's been more unity than ever? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that our voices are louder than ever? Have you noticed that we're stronger than ever? Have you noticed that social media has changed the game? Have you noticed that they're acquiescing? Have you noticed that they're on the back foot?
Wow.
Have you noticed that they're weak? Have you noticed them shiver? Have you noticed them tremble? I have noticed them tremble. They're ru'us, they're top heads.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It just like every single, so first off, I just want to point this out, which is this is a tactic in rhetoric. This is a tactic in public speech, right? So something that you do when you're trying to get a point across is you will ask rhetorical questions. Of course, that's a big deal. But also just using a similar starting point to bring up multiple questions or multiple points, right? So this is just something that is really common. This is something that's taught in speech classes and writing classes and stuff. When you start out a whole paragraph with sentences that all begin exactly the same way, it has a bigger point. It's a more dramatic way to present the information, right? So he's purposefully using this tactic as a way to, and you can hear it too. You can hear the audience response. They get more excited as he says it, right? He says, "Do you see the unity?" And they go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you see them acquiescing?" And they go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you see them on the back foot?" And they go, "Oh yeah." Right? But truly what he just did there was just got more and more gross with everything that he said. Like, he started out by saying, like, "Do you see how we're all coming together?" Which is like a positive thing. And then it eventually got to him literally saying the word acquiescing. Which, if you understand anything about historical context and this situation happening, It was a different A word that was used in the past, in the 30s. It was called appeasement. And appeasement was a political ideology that literally led to genocide of the Jewish people. And what he's saying right there is, we're coming together as a Muslim community to fight against all of these non-Muslims and Jews specifically. And do you see how they're already acquiescing to us and our demands? It's really bad. He says a lot of really terrible things in a very coded way, I think. And I just am concerned. My fears at the beginning of this, Armin, have been founded to be true. I feel like
But we need to move forward faster.
I know.
There's still 5 minutes of it left. Yeah.
We have something that these people don't have. Our God is not the God of money, is it? Ta'is abdu dinari wa dirham. The Prophet said, perished is the one who is the slave of a dinar and dirham. Money is your God, because that's a weak God. And so you have weak resolve, weak motivation. 2 days you can't handle it on Twitter. Imagine on the battlefield. But then you have children that throw a rock and go in and say, oh, I'm ready to die. A child in Palestine. The gift of Iman that gives us the courageous, the gallant.
Iman means faith. The gift of Iman. So it's like, if you have faith, you will have a lot of courage.
Child in Palestine.
As a child who's ready to die.
The gift of Iman that gives us the courageous, the gallantness, the bravery.
So it's like Palestinian people, he's saying the Palestinian children are brave. They're willing to die because they have faith.
Yeah.
The will to live, the purpose, all the things these people, even if they bought the whole world, they would not be able to achieve it, is a gift no other people can have.
Oh, and he is.
So no, he's saying that Muslims have a gift that nobody else in the world has, which is faith in Allah, that makes you be able to be this courageous and give all your life. Everybody else is chasing this world. They're chasing the dunya, they're chasing money, and they're changing the pleasures of this world. But you could see Muslims being so courageous because they're chasing something a lot more important, because they have a gift that is Allah.
Okay, fair. But he's also, if I'm wrong here, please correct me, but he's also using an anti-Semitic trope by just saying Jews want money. Is that not what he's basically saying in coded language? Is that?
Well, he's saying everybody other than us is chasing false gods. Like,
okay, that's slightly better. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, fine, fair.
The will to live, the purpose, all the things these people, even if they bought the whole world, they would not be able to achieve it, is a gift no other people can have. We have that. They would wish to have that. If they knew how it felt, if they knew what it meant, they would yujadiluna bil suyuf, as the Salaf used to say. They would fight us with swords. That's what they would do. Actually, nowadays, they probably do it on a plane or something, where they're far away on a drone, so they don't have to engage with the swords themselves, because they are cowards.
Oh my God.
I don't understand. He still makes that point. You're an idiot. Of course, if I have better weapons, I'm not going to use it. Why would I come and do extra?
Such a weird time to bring it up. Such a weird time to bring it up. My gosh.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you some points of action, because I feel your anger. I feel your rage. I
think they're just jealous how the Ummah, how the Muslim community didn't have the education, the technology, and the science to be able to produce what the Western civilization has been able to produce, and has given them much stronger military capability and stronger weapons. I think this is just your jealousy speaking, Mohammed.
Well, thank goodness there's nothing in the Islamic teaching that literally prevents like half of the population from being educated. Thank goodness that's not in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
To go home, if you have anybody in your family, a friend that you have a khusuma with, you have a dispute, a discord with, resolve it today. with the Muslim people. Can we get a pledge for that? Yes or no?
So only resolve your disputes with Muslims. Okay.
Yeah. This would
wholesome.
seem wholesome if it wasn't about otherizing other people. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you were listening to this in a vacuum, like go home and try to resolve your disputes that you have with your family. Like,
that's great. That's so awesome.
Wholesome.
Like, hey guys, there's more important things going on in the world right now. We all need to come together to stop the reduction or the increase in suffering, the reduction in well-being. We need to come together to stop that. If those people are also part of the same faith as us, like that, undercuts everything. So
no, like the whole point of this coming together and not fighting each other is so that you're stronger against everyone else. That's what makes it not wholesome. Yeah.
Do you know anybody who is disputing with each other?
By the way, Yuval is pointing out that I think Mohammed Hijab might be embarrassed, but IDF soldiers, they have superior technology and they use it. But when it comes to face-to-face combat, they're still kicking Hamas ass, right? So just in case you thought that they're only capable of destroying their enemy far away by pressing button, no, they do that very well. But when it comes down to it, when they have to do face-to-face combat, they excel in that as well. And I've seen enough videos of Hamas soldiers crying while IDF soldiers are after them to know who the real coward is. But let's continue.
You're going to step in and try and resolve it. Yes or no? Why? Because if we do that, we're bringing the ummah together. And if we bring the ummah together, we protect the ummah from these Sahayana and the Zionists and these elements that want to destroy us. It's a matter of survival. It is a matter of survival. The second thing I want you to do is make prolonged and proper dua in your sujood to Allah.
Okay, so this is because this is the real weapon they have. Just notice that they have nothing for Palestinians. I just want people to understand that when they say they stand for Palestine and they want to help Palestinians, nothing they have suggested does anything for people in Gaza. First, he was like, let's unite with each other against all the Jews and the Christians and right-wing people and the left-wing people. And now he's going to the prayer mode. The lives. So just remember, when you hear people say, I stand with Palestine, they do nothing for Palestine.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad you said that. I was going to wait till entirely the end, but we got just a few minutes left. And I'll point this out. He's made 3 suggestions as far as I can see it. This is his video on Palestine. What can we do? Here are the 3 suggestions I've found. 1, the Islamic community can unite together against non-Muslims, specifically Jews, but non-Muslims as a whole. 2, you can beat your wife less. And then what was the third one? The third one was pray. Pray. Cool. So that's so far what Mohammed Hijab believes are the 3 right options. I mean, maybe he'll give us something else, but so far that's the only.
You're right. Actually, you're right. This is the title of this video on Palestine. What can we do? This is one of the greatest minds in Islamic dawah scene. These are when they tell you what they can do. These are his solutions. Notice how his solution. He put his thought to it. He came. He suited up. Look at him. He put his best clothes on. He prepared for this. He put all his thoughts on it, and this is what he came up with. Nothing that is helpful. Nothing that does anything for anybody, except actually cause more division within the society. That's all he does.
He's got a couple minutes left. Maybe he offers something else right at the end. But maybe. so far, that's what we've got, people. Don't forget that. Those 3 things. Join together to fight non-Muslims, beat your wife less, and pray. That's what
he didn't even do something that we might have been like, hey, maybe that would help. Like, he didn't even suggest like the donating money thing. At least
start a fucking charity. Make a GoFundMe. Like, make a fucking social media campaign. None of that. He did.
I mean, that is maybe he does. Maybe in the last couple of minutes he does that because
yeah,
at least
maybe.
that would, you could give credit to your religion for being pro zakat and pro charity or something like that. But at least we would be like, hey, maybe this last thing that he suggested could do some help for Gaza. But he didn't even do that. He didn't even do the thing that you could do as a Muslim and say like, hey, we're told to do charity in Islam,
and that is correct. That is correct.
What can we do? Yeah. Go on.
No, that is Islamic teaching. Like it's I get frustrated when I hear, you know, those on the atheist side who say like, oh no, all of this is BS. And it's like, no, Islam does teach charity. It does. Okay. I think it's undercut by all the other stuff, but it does teach. So he didn't even take that opportunity to say, we as good Muslims should do
specifically said,
charity.
I'm not going to ask you to do that, by the way. He specifically said, I'm not going to ask you to do that.
Yes, he did.
Like,
Thank you for saying that. Yes, he did.
I'm just going to ask you to do unhelpful things instead.
Exactly.
By the way, I'm talking about charity. I do have to point out that Hamas has made giving charity to people in Gaza very, very difficult because Hamas steals all the help that goes to Gazan people. So a lot of people don't know if they're trying to donate to make the situation in Gaza for people who are suffering there better. A lot of people are like, well, a lot of it is getting into the hands of Hamas. So am I actually supporting a terrorist group when I donate? And a lot of people don't know that, and that has made it a lot more difficult to get the funds that needed to help the people in Gaza. So,
and you don't have to, again, you don't have to take our words on that, folks. You can just go look up the literal decade worth of internationally verified by multiple independent journalists of Hamas just hijacking and taking aid. So that's just, it's out there. So
what you to do is make prolonged and proper dua in your sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he gives Palestine and his people complete victory.
Oh, just go pray to Allah that to give Palestine complete victory.
And not just complete victory, Armin, but like when he said Zionist at the beginning of this video, complete victory. What do you think that means? What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. This is
completeness.
Yes, that means the absolute destruction of Israel.
Oh,
and
there
genocide.
We go. Oh, there
that
we
is
go.
definitely that is definitely complete victory. Doesn't mean the two-state solution. Complete victory means that there's no Israelis left after this. That's what
there anything.
You're right.
Is there anything in either? Let's just say, just as an example, just trying to be charitable. Is there anything at all in either, like Hamas's founding charter or the holy text of Islam, the Quran, that would indicate that position that you and I are kind of highlighting? Is there anything at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. There is. We've already literally mentioned it multiple times on this particular.
We did it at the beginning of the show. I showed you the Hadith.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Cool. Sorry. I just. Yep. There we go. There you go, folks. Just in case you forgot.
I'm glad that you noticed how he mentions the complete. Listen, listen to this now with genocide in mind. Hold on.
He gives Palestine and his people complete victory.
How destructive. This is harmful to Palestinian people as well, because he's not telling people to donate. He's doing the thoughts and prayer meme. This is literally the thoughts and prayer. And like, at least some people say like, hey, let's do charity and pray. He's basically just like, just pray for complete victory. How is this gonna? This is going to be a lot of Muslims who think like they help without doing anything.
Yeah, and
this is harmful to Palestinians.
He's in the UK, a place where all of these individuals, I guarantee you, all of these individuals have a minister of parliament that they can call, that they can set up a meeting with and discuss reasonable, rational solutions that will end suffering for Israelis and Palestinians. Doesn't mention that shit once.
Just pray. Why would they do that? They have the most powerful freaking creature in the whole world.
Call your government.
To just go to
call your government. Doesn't mention that. Vote.
But they have a law. They have a law.
I'm sorry.
Governments are weak compared to Allah's power. Why should you?
You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad for, you know, wanting to use, like, I don't know, real world solutions as opposed to magic. Yeah. My fault.
Complete victory. هل تربصون بنا إلا إحدى الحسنيين? It's victory anyway. Because if the martyr dies, he goes to Jannah.
Jesus.
He goes to Jannah. Or she goes to Jannah.
There it is.
Listen to this.
Otherwise, it's victory. It's win-win for us and it's lose-lose for them. Bear that in mind. This conception.
So look at this. Look at this. This is important. When he says let's pray for complete victory for Palestinians. Victory means one solution for them to be victorious is for them to just die.
There you go. There you go.
So the Palestinians don't just get victory by defeating Israel. Palestinians can just get victory by just being killed. And you could pray for that. And you could pray for that.
And it's the highest. It's the highest good. It's not just good, but it is a higher good. Like, absolutely. How disgusting. I mean, Susanna asks a great question. How can you defeat an enemy that worships death? Like, Armin says it all the time.
Yeah.
And again, it's not him saying it. It's them saying it and him just reminding you that it's been said. People like this will say, we love death more than you love life. Like, yeah, he goes again. This is a video that he titled, "What Can We Do on the Palestine Situation?" And the things that he has offered: prayer, beat your wife less, and come together, put aside old disputes as Muslims to fight the non-believers, the non-Muslims. And then after all of that, he offers you a little bit more comfort, because he says, even if that shit doesn't work, let me just remind you, by the way, all of these children dying are actually, it's a good thing. They're martyrs in Islam, you guys. They're actually getting a great place in Jannah. That's what he's saying. That's what he said there. He doesn't give a shit about Palestinians. Absolutely not. To say something like that, just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
I just want to, again, remind everybody, when we say their care for Palestinian, this is their care for Palestinians, because the people with a lot of the people with the Palestinian flags, and then when they say I stand with Palestine, this is the care that they have for Palestinians.
Right.
They call us, I who defend Israel and Palestine, they think that we're heartless and we don't care about Palestinians dying. They tell us that we don't care about Palestinians dying. He's literally praying for them to die. He literally considers their victory is through their death.
Right. Right.
I mean, how could you be more anti-Palestinian? You're selling the Palestinian death as a victory, and you're praying for it. And we're anti-Palestinian? You're anti-Palestinian. You, the people who say I stand with Palestine, you're anti-Palestinian.
Yeah. I just really think it's worth pointing this out. I'm not 100% positive, because through most of the video, Mohammed Hijab has been in front of the sign, but I'm pretty sure he's currently speaking at the Muslim Family Support Forum. This is the support Mohammed Hijab offers to Muslim families. Beat your wives less. Put aside disputes with your family members to fight non-Muslims. Pray. And then know that if none of that shit works and children in Palestine still die, know that it's actually a good thing. That's his support to Muslim families. That's what he's offering today. Good job. Good job, you guys. Great speaker. Great choice.
Yeah. Let's continue this. And I have a couple of comments. Maybe I want to highlight.
Of Jannah, it is something we can lose for them. Bear that in mind. Jannah.
So it's like it's win-win for us if we lose for them. If we die, we win because we go to heaven. And if we win, then we win. It's lose-lose for them, because if they win, what they win is this world, is the dunya, is the earthly things. But and if they die, they go to hell. So it's either way they lose, and either way we win.
Right.
Otherwise, it's victory. It's win-win for us and it's lose-lose for them. Bear that in mind. This conception of Jannah, it is something
Jannah means heaven.
we can delight in and enjoy. It's one of the beautiful gifts. We can think, oh, we're going to be in a place where there's no bad feeling.
That's why they love death. That's why they love death, because at the end of the day, even if they kill us, we go to heaven. This is why they're a cult of death.
Absolutely.
Think, oh, we're going to be in a place where there's no bad feeling. Those babies that are killed are in a place, inshallah, where there's no bad feeling.
There you go.
So you don't
That
see,
makes it okay.
you don't even see their death as a tragedy. There are babies
Right.
who are dying. They're in a place that is no suffering. So
It's not
even
just a
tragedy.
good thing, it's a better thing. It's not just an okay outcome. It is a highest good outcome to be sought after.
Are in a place, inshallah, where there's no bad feeling. And there are ones, inshallah, in the hellfire where...
Wow. So he says, like the other ones, they, inshallah, God willing, they will be in hellfire. So he's hoping that they end up in.
There you go.
How could you even hope for? Shouldn't you want, as a Muslim, that they don't end up in hellfire? You delight in the fact that they're going to end up in hellfire.
Children have died on both sides. Children have died on both sides. Imagine putting children deaths on one side next to the fact that some of the other people that died are getting tortured forever, knowing full and well that also includes children. Like, again, it's just absolutely hateful.
Inshallah, in the hellfire, where they would wish to be hit by missiles, burning therein eternally, the cowards that they are.
Coward.
Point of action number 1, fix your relationships. Point of action number 2, make dua. And point of...
Dua means prayer. So, okay.
Point of action number 2, make dua.
3.
And point of action number 3, use your voice wherever you can, on social media, on normal media, in your schools, anywhere. Don't let them intimidate you. Yes, of course, we're not going to say anything illegal. But we need to be able to use this platform. You and I are in the United Kingdom, the so-called first world. We have advantages 95% of the world doesn't have.
How do you have advantages? You said they're gagging you. Why would you have advantages in the UK over other people? Doesn't that mean that you have a louder voice in the UK because you're more free compared to Islamic countries? Did you not just is that not just a contradiction with what he said at the beginning,
Armin,
that they're gagging us, that we cannot speak? What the
Armin, I appreciate your logic here. I appreciate you focusing on the literal direct words that Mohammed Hijab has said in this speech, in this 15 minutes. I appreciate you doing that. And yes, Susanna is right. And yet, Mohammed Hijab wants to destroy those values in his caliphate wet dream. Yes, 100%. I appreciate all of that, but give him a second, because I feel like he's ramping up to say, we live in the first world. We live in the UK, one of the most powerful, governments in the world. We have the ability to contact our representatives in government. I feel like that's what he's going to say, right? Because that's a tangible thing that could be done to positively influence the situation, right? He's going to say that.
I don't think so, but okay. But before we get to that, I just want to highlight this part one more time, because he's like, we have an advantage in the UK. Mohammed Hijab, these are the Western values that has given you these advantages. This is the freedom of speech that you have that you don't have in Islamic countries. Why do you think you have an advantage? The advantage that you have is because, how could you be so anti-Western then? How could you be so anti-liberalism, given the fact that you're admitting that you have a more powerful voice in the UK compared to Islamic countries? I don't understand this. Okay, let me just listen to this. Maybe I misheard this.
The so-called first world. We have advantage.
Why is it so-called first world if you actually have an advantage? It is the first world.
Which
like,
you recognize.
It's like the so-called... He says the so-called first world as if they're not better than other countries that are not first world. If it's not better, then why would you have an advantage in the UK? God damn it. This guy is full of contradictions.
On the United Kingdom.
Look at this.
The so-called first world. We have advantages 95% of the world doesn't have.
95?
We have a responsibility, therefore, that 95% of the world doesn't have, especially of the Muslim people. Whatever you can do, do it. And with that, I conclude.
There you go.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
There you go.
I mean, not even charity? Like, can you not even include charity, maybe? Like in a video
Whatever
titled
you
what,
can do,
on
Armin.
Palestine, what can we do?
Whatever you can do, Armin. Whatever you can do, Armin. That's why. Yeah. Susanna's been on fire, by the way, like just on fire. Yeah, it took Palestine for Mohammed Hijab to understand the value of the Enlightenment. Yeah.
Right.
So whatever you can do, Armin. Whatever you can do, okay? You know? Like for instance, yeah, I mean, right. I mean, yeah.
Let me tell you what the best solution is to resolve all wars everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I will tell you.
Okay.
I will tell you how to fix everything in the world. Okay.
All right. I'm ready. Go for it.
Do whatever you can do. You're welcome.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I mean, but if
yes.
Yeah, you know what? That would probably stop all wars. Whatever we can do, if we just did it. Yeah, that's wow, that's powerful.
You're welcome.
That's powerful.
Nobel Peace Prize now. Thank you.
You know what though, Armin? And I'm gonna say this, and this might be wrong. You tell me if I'm off base here. Something that might, because what you just said kind of sounds okay, you know, but something might undercut that message and might make it a lot more heinous and disgusting if, for instance, like you offered 3 specific points, you know, like join together with a certain group to literally fight all the other groups in the world, pray, and like don't beat your wife so hard, you know, because then it would kind of almost sound as if when you say do whatever you can do, it would almost sound like violence is perfectly acceptable in that feeling, and also doing absolutely nothing like praying is acceptable to you. So that would kind of undercut that point, you know, if you said that. It just, yeah, it makes it worse. It makes it worse.
We just got a super chat. I'm just going to quickly add. Jim Holy is saying thoughts on the BDS movement. I don't like the BDS movement because it condemns the entirety of Israel, which is unfair. Israel as a whole shouldn't be punished.
What is the
for
BDS?
certain bad?
I'm not sure.
It's basically a way to not do business with anything.
The divestment and okay, yeah. Okay. I get you.
So what the hell? Why would everything Israeli be condemned for some bad decisions by some people in Israel?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
I could understand taking a harder stance on the Israeli military or government, like if you were doing business specifically with the Israeli.
Not military, maybe the Likud party, and the other two party. Okay. I mean, the Israeli military is most of the time, just defending Israel. Zaid is saying, is he including Palestinian Christians? Yes, that's a very good point that I wanted to highlight by Zaid, because he's like, it's Muslims versus Christians and Jews. Okay, so I think if you want to be pro-Palestinian, you should include Palestinian Christians. This, I don't know. Apparently, they are also your enemy, the Palestinian Christians, who are right now having the worst time and living under the most horrible conditions, and they're also suffering and dying as well. Just remember, Palestinian Christians, that according to Mohammed Hijab, you're also the enemy. You cannot be trusted, and you cannot be befriended as well, because you Christians will only befriend Muslims if you stop following the Muslims, stop following their ways. So very important point by Zayd. I just want to highlight
and
that.
you're not, just to make sure you're not saying that. That's Muhammad, the prophet himself, right? Who mentions that? You didn't. That's not your thoughts on it. That's coming directly from the word of the prophet.
Well, from both Muhammads right now. Muhammad the prophet, Muhammad Hijab here in the chat, here also in the live, in his video mentioned that, he mentioned the Christians and the Jews as the enemies. That's what he did, right? So, but I think he forgot that some Palestinians are Christian.
Oops.
And atheists, by the way. I know Palestinian atheists.
Hell yeah, they are.
Right. Yeah. And Darko is saying, I'm sure he was on the first bus to Gaza after this talk. Yeah, I mean, he's not a coward, is he? Like, we could just basically go to Palestine and fight. I wonder why he doesn't. I wouldn't think Mohammed Hijab is a coward. Is he a coward? Because why wouldn't he do that? I mean, this is your opportunity to be a martyr. This is your opportunity to be a martyr. Like, isn't this the highest thing you could ever get? Why would you not go there? Why would Mohammed Hijab? This is a good question. I want to know why Mohammed Hijab is not going, and he's asking other people. He's calling Israeli government a coward for not doing fight face to face. Well, I guess there's somebody else I know that is not going and fighting for Muslims face to face. I mean, his name is Muhammad and his last name is Hijab. I'm sure he's going to go do it. I'm sure he has plans to go there, right?
In fairness, Armin, Muhammad Hijab is doing all he can right now. He's praying really hard.
Oh yeah, that's more important.
That takes a lot of effort. He's really, really working hard. Asking people to not,
but that would not give you martyrdom. That would not give you martyrdom.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I don't know.
That's a good. You know what? I'm sure
Muhammad
what he's
Hijab,
doing.
This is your chance. Do you really want to die not being a martyr? By the way, I'm saying this only because I know he's a coward and he's not going to do anything.
Right.
I'm not advocating for anybody to go do anything like that. Okay, so
we're just pointing out the hypocrisy and the ridiculousness.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Yeah. But no, I think, I think he's too busy, bringing together the ummah right now, Armin. I'm sure Muhammad Hijab has put out lots and lots of videos where he is specifically calling different groups of Muslims together to unite. I'm sure that he's done that. So
right. Zero. All right. We should go because I was trying to do the stream under 2 hours, but we went long. But
we were close.
Guys, like the stream. We spent 2.5 hours for you guys. You could spend 2.5 seconds, not even less than a second to like the stream, and then spend a couple of other seconds after the stream is over. Leave a comment under our videos. That will help the channel. So just wait until the stream is over. Leave a comment under the video. But like, at least with a like. And if you want to do more, what you could do is you could suggest our channel. Go tell people that we have the most based takes about everything here on the Atheist Republic channel. Tell people that they need to come watch our channel. That's how you can support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us grow. So please go ahead and do that. Oh, thank you.
And just because we don't always do a great job, mainly because you and I just get so distracted by all the ridiculous crap people are saying that we review, but we have already gotten over 30 monthly donors to help bring back the news team, and we have already made so much insane progress on that. You guys, look, the link is in the description. Watch all the news streams because you will get updates on it. Like, seriously, y'all, this is amazing. And thank you so much for all the support and everything, you guys. Like, that is what keeps everything going here and allows us to come on and point out all this garbage and still, have fun and keep the lights on. So seriously, thank you all so much for everything.
Yes, I will reward you with puppies next time, maybe.
Okay, puppies next time. Puppies next time.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. If they're in the mood, okay. All right, guys. Again, we'll see you again. Me and Elliot will probably see you again with another maybe Islamic or Israel Palestine related stream. And
go watch Secular Jihadists in the meantime if you're not. Like Armin and I are putting out videos over there like all the time.
Yes, Secular Jihadist videos, go check them out. All right, guys, till then. Oh, wait, do you have the hat? No,
I got it.
Get the hat. I should get a hat.
You should. Did I do it good?
Yes.